Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the VBA, the Vinyl Beat Making Association. We got the number one picks, starting with the East.
Before I get too along in the story, let me explain why I'm doing this in the first place. See, I want to challenge myself. You're probably wondering where I'm at. Well, this is my pull-up bar in my studio. And just like making beats, things can become stale and hard. So I'm challenging myself to make music in a different way. Woo! Woo! Oh man, that was a challenge. But I'm willing to do something different to spark my creativity with my music. So while I rest up, I'll let my future self explain the rest of this.
It's a great day to be alive. Now, this time, the NBA Finals is going on, and that gave me an idea for a new video to challenge myself. And I call it the VBA. I know, not original. The Vinyl Beat Making Association. You know, like the NBA. Anyway, it probably exists already. I didn't do any research or anything like that. I just figured I'm gonna model this challenge like the NBA. So there's gonna be 8 records on the East, 8 records on the West, and we're gonna battle it out for the finals. But then I start thinking, I don't know how to sample. I don't make music like that. Then another problem, I don't have a record player. Another problem ensued. I don't own records. Then my last problem, I want to keep it true to the form of how sampling started with all-in-one machines. I don't have that. I have a machine, but I don't know how to use it that well. I decided this is going to be a challenge. I have to learn how to use Maschine, get some records, get a record player, learn how to do this, all before the NBA Finals and try to finish on time. I don't know where to start. Let's see. I got it. My father has a nice size record collection. Only thing is, I live in Canada now. He's in the US. I guess I'm taking a road trip.
Woohoo! Finally made it. This is the basement of my childhood home. Just look at this record collection behind me. My father was always playing music in the house when I was little. I know there's going to be some gems up on this wall. Let's get to digging.
Here we go, getting my turntable at trusty old Guitar Center. I don't come to the States often, so when they saw that large purchase, they flagged it. But it's okay, we got that resolved. Now it's time to get back on the road and head to Canada. Here are my rules that I set for myself for this challenge. With each record, I have to use a sample and make a beat no matter what. And then whenever record wins and goes on, I can't use the same sample. So this is gonna be real tough for trying to find creative ways, and hopefully the records have different samples. Another limitation, I wanna try to keep the equipment I use as simple as possible. Trying to go back to the days of how hip hop started with sampling, when you would just use one standalone production box. I'm gonna be using the Maschine since I already have it. I'm gonna have to teach myself how to really use this software program. And the last rule, it's only a 1 out of 1 game. It's not a best of 7 series. I'm new to doing this, so I don't know how long the initial process of sampling vinyl and making it into a beat is gonna go. Now I have a lot of music experience, but sampling the beat from records and trying to turn it into something usable, that's not easy. And I know that. I know my limitations, so that's why I'm keeping it at 1 round. I got my records, I got my record player. It's time to learn a Maschine. What's the best place to go if you don't know how to do something? I'm going to YouTube to learn how to work this machine. How I'm choosing to pick the teams for each side? Well, I'm giving myself one pick for the East, one pick for the West. Now, that would be my choice that I think is going to take it all the way. Then when the rest of the records, I'm going to enter their name, I'm going to assign random numbers to these, and I'm going to pick. That way, I'm not swayed by popular songs or popular artists that people probably sampled a lot of things I hear. I want to try to challenge myself, really go into blind. Plus, just like in the NBA, you never know who's going to win. Yes. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the VBA. And we got for the East coming in at the number 1 seed, Herbie Man Surprises. This looks very promising. Nice artwork. Let's see how this will pull through as the number 1 seed. And for the West, number 1 seed, we got Thomas Buck Nasty, Blast Old Funk. Woo! This might be a hard one to contend with in the West, but we'll see. Now let's get ready to show the rest of the picks for the East. Stevie Wonder, Hotter Than July. Stanley Clark. Elton John, Greatest Hits. Brainstorm. Brick. Earth, Wind, and Fire. The Best, Volume 1. Bootsy Collins and Bootsy's Rubber Band. The OJs, Message in Music. The Ohio Players, Honey. Gladys Knight and the Pips, Neither One of Us. Shirley Caesar, Live. The Commodores, Live. The Staple Singers, Let's Do It Again. Minnie Riperton, Adventures in Paradise. Sorry for all you other records, you'll just have to wait till next year. Now with that being said, let's get ready to sample. Man, this is definitely harder than I thought trying to sample this stuff. Man, that was way tougher than I thought, man. Sampling is not easy. Whoever says sampling is easy just because you lifting stuff, sampling is not easy. That's my first time sampling, and I feel like I didn't even make a good beat. I'm just like got tired of hearing the same whole thing. So I'm like, I'm just going to settle for that. So there we go. Trying to sample a beat. It was harder than I thinking on my feet. It was quite tough. And this is my number 1 album. Number 1 draft pick. man, that took me so long to just make that simple. It's not on beat, it's not time, but I got tired of making it. All right, so now I'm gonna decide who gets that spot, who advances to the next round. Man, this is only 2 beats I've made, and that was so tough creating that. And I got so many more beats to make. Man, this might be a terrible experiment, but it doesn't matter. I'm learning as I go. And now for the VBA Finals. We have the #1 seed in the East, Herbie Man surprises out of the West. Coming in at the #2 seed, we have the OJs. Man, that final battle, that was a good one. I really thought my pick, Herbie Man, was gonna make it, but the OJs came through. Hey, it is what it is. I really enjoyed doing this challenge. And there are 3 lessons that I learned while doing this 30-day sampling beat making challenge. The first lesson, sampling is harder than it seems. I know some producers, some other people who don't even make music think sampling is easy just because you're taking something someone already made and flipping it. Well, that's the complicated part. I mean, think about some songs, you know, where the sample is just like one note, doom, but they took that one note and made it into a crazy beat. So I really got a better appreciation for people who do make sample-based beats, and I love listening to them. I just don't create them. So most of the music I create is for TV. So I don't worry about samples because I don't want to have to worry about the clearances. I've already been in the groove of making the music the same way I make it. So that's why the sampling challenge, it was actually harder because I don't usually sample, and using the machine, I had to think about it differently. Lesson number 2, I got better with time. Now this is kind of self-explanatory. Most of the time when you're doing anything, you tend to get better at it with time. I remember when I first started making beats. Now at the time, I thought they were good beats, but now I listen back over 15 years later, they weren't so great, but I gotten better. Just like the sampling, even though I sampled only for 30 days, I didn't realize I was making 29 beats, so almost 1 beat a day. I saw my progression from the first beat I sampled. It was all out of time, all out of rhythm. I didn't really understand how to work the machine in the program until the finals, where I'm like, oh, these beats are way better. So to any new producers who's thinking that you may not sound as good as compared to everything that's out there already, don't worry. If you keep practicing your craft, you will get better. And the last lesson I learned was how to really use the machine. Now, when I first brought this machine by Native Instruments, it was just a replacement for another pad control. So I saw this and I said, okay, I'm gonna get it. But as time went on, I always thought, man, I just paid a lot of money for something where I only needed simple features. Like the other pad control I had, I think it was like only $120 for it. It was a core pad control. And I really liked it, but then it started messing up, so I got the machine. I really appreciate the machine. It actually makes me want to upgrade to where they have the screen on there, because I love the workflow. And I really got to learn how to use it, this all in one box. Like towards the end of the challenge, I was almost doing everything just from the machine itself. I would barely click into the program, maybe just to rename files so I understand what groups and what scenes were. So I definitely will be incorporating it more into my workflow. So I'm glad I challenged myself to learn this program. I think this was a real fun challenge. In hindsight, I probably wouldn't have did so many things. I mean, think about it. I had to get records, I had to get a record player, and I had to learn machine. That's 3 things, man. Trying to make change is not easy, definitely when you're adding 3 things to the mix. I could have just did 1 thing for a challenge like learning machine, but I did a lot, and I thought I was going to finish in time for the NBA finals, but I grossly underestimated how long it would take me to make a beat. I mean, to make 1 beat, it was averaging like an hour and 30 minutes, and working another job and have other responsibilities, I just didn't have the time. Like usually with my music I make for sync licensing, I can make 10 beats a day if I'm really focused. And that's because I'm just in a routine and rhythm of making it, my old habits. So I understand what to do. But I challenge you, if you've been doing the same thing with your beat making, do something different. If you do everything in the computer, maybe rent some gear so you can use some outboard gear to really feel the keys and hear different sounds and learn how to manipulate it differently. Or challenge yourself in your computer with your DAW to make a whole song with just 1 synth. And lastly, don't forget to document the journey if you do something different, because someone else might see this and be inspired by your video. And if you need more help making your beat, making videos, and understanding the process of putting yourself out there as a producer, check out this video.